In just 90 days, I completely fixed my finances without making extra money. What if I told you that you could completely overhaul your financial situation in the next 90 days? And what if I told you that you could do it without getting a raise, without starting a side hustle, without working a single extra hour? Most people would say it's impossible. They believe the only way to get ahead is to make more money. But I'm here to tell you that's not the only way. I discovered the secret wasn't adding more income, it was taking control of the income I already had. It began as a mindset shift, a simple, powerful challenge to myself. Fix my money problems in 3 months? It sounded absurd. I was at a point with nothing left to lose. My bank account caused constant anxiety. I felt like I was working hard just to stay in the same place. So I treated it like an experiment. For 90 days, I committed to one mission: optimize every dollar that came into and out of my life. No excuses, no cheat days, relentless focus on efficiency and cutting waste. This wasn't deprivation, it was intention. Before this 90-day transformation, my financial life was, to put it mildly, a complete disaster. On the outside, everything looked fine. I had a decent job, a nice apartment. I wasn't missing any meals, but beneath the surface, I was drowning. My paycheck would hit my bank account, and it felt like it vanished into thin air within days. Where did all my money go? Credit card debt I was only making minimum payments on. A car loan that felt like a life sentence. Absolutely zero savings. Trapped in the paycheck-to-paycheck cycle, stress taking a serious toll. The turning point was surprisingly small. In line for a $7 latte, scrolling my banking app. I saw the coffee charges, yesterday and the day before. It hit me like a ton of bricks. Over $200 a month on coffee. Meanwhile, my credit card interest kept compounding. A symbol of my whole financial philosophy, or lack of one. Prioritizing momentary pleasures over long-term security. Financing my caffeine habit with high-interest debt. Embarrassing and motivating. The very first day of my 90-day challenge was the hardest. It was time to face the music. I couldn't fix a problem I didn't fully understand, so I had to get brutally honest with myself about where my money was actually going. This meant gathering every single financial document I could find. Bank statements, credit card bills, loan agreements, utility bills from the last 3 months. I laid them all out on my living room floor. It was an intimidating sight. Years of financial neglect and mindless spending. The financial equivalent of stepping on the scale after avoiding it for years. I knew the number wasn't going to be pretty. With a deep breath, I started manually going through every single line item. Every coffee, every lunch, every Amazon order, every subscription fee. I created a simple spreadsheet and categorized every single expense. The process was tedious and, frankly, depressing. I discovered I was spending an obscene amount of money on food delivery services. I found 3 different streaming service subscriptions I hadn't used in months. The numbers were staring back at me in black and white. It was a raw, unfiltered look at my financial habits, the wake-up call I needed. This wasn't about judging myself, it was about gathering data. Manual tracking forced me to be mindful. When you just swipe a card, the transaction is abstract. But when you manually write down, minus $18.50 for a burrito bowl I could have made for $4, it hits differently. Manually tracking my expenses on a spreadsheet was a powerful exercise, but I knew it wasn't a sustainable long-term solution. It was time-consuming, and let's be honest, I knew my motivation to keep it up would eventually fade. I needed to automate the process. I needed technology to do the heavy lifting for me. That's when I discovered Rocket Money and Empower. These weren't just apps, they became my personal financial advisors, working for me 24/7. They took the raw data of my financial life and organized it into something I could actually understand and act on. Rocket Money was the first tool I set up, and it was a game changer for tackling my day-to-day spending and hidden costs. The setup was simple. I securely linked my bank accounts and credit cards, and within minutes, the app pulled in all my transaction history. It automatically categorized my spending, showing me clear, easy-to-read charts of where my money was going. Suddenly, I didn't have to spend hours buried in a spreadsheet. I could see at a glance that I was spending 30% of my income on food and dining, which was a shocking revelation. The app became my financial watchdog, holding me accountable for every dollar spent. The most powerful feature of Rocket Money for me was its ability to hunt down and cancel unwanted subscriptions. The app immediately flagged all my recurring payments, from my gym membership to that free trial for a photo editing software I signed up for a year ago and forgot about. It listed them all in one place, showing me how much I was paying for each one. With just a few taps, I could have Rocket Money's concierge service cancel these subscriptions on my behalf. This feature alone saved me over $100 in the first month. It was like finding free money I didn't even know I was giving away every single month. While Rocket Money was my go-to for managing cash flow and cutting expenses, Empower, formerly Personal Capital, gave me the big picture view. I linked all my accounts to Empower as well, but this included my debt accounts, my 401k. Armed with my new digital tools, the first week of my 90-day plan was all about quick wins. I needed to see some immediate progress to stay motivated. The lowest hanging fruit was my jungle of recurring subscriptions. Using the dashboard in Rocket Money, I had a complete list of every service that was automatically taking money from my account. Seeing it all laid out was, well, staggering. Streaming services, I didn't use a subscription box. I no longer wanted multiple app subscriptions I couldn't even remember downloading. It was like a graveyard of good intentions and forgotten free trials, and it was costing me a fortune. So I adopted a ruthless, zero-tolerance policy. The question wasn't, should I keep this? But do I absolutely need this to survive and be happy? If the answer wasn't a resounding yes, it had to go. That premium music subscription? The free version with ads would do just fine. The 3 different video streaming services? I picked the one I used the most and canceled the other 2. I could always resubscribe for a month if there was a specific show I wanted to watch. This wasn't about depriving myself of entertainment. It was about consuming it intentionally. The process was, surprisingly, pretty easy. For most of them, I just logged into the service and hit the cancel button. For a couple of the more stubborn ones that required a phone call or a support email, I used Rocket Money's cancellation concierge feature. I just told the app which subscription to cancel, and they handled the rest. This was a huge help. It removed the friction and procrastination. Within the first week, I had eliminated over $120 in monthly recurring charges. That's nearly $1,500 a year that I was just giving away for nothing. This first victory was a massive psychological boost. I hadn't made any more money, but I had effectively given myself a $120 per month raise. Seeing my projected annual savings in the app made the whole challenge feel real and achievable. After the initial success of cutting subscriptions, I moved on to the next phase of the plan around the 45-day mark, tackling the big 3. These are the largest, most consistent expenses in most people's budgets: housing, transportation, utilities. For me, this meant my cell phone bill, my car insurance, and my internet bill. These bills often feel non-negotiable, but I learned that's rarely the case. A little bit of research and a few phone calls can unlock substantial savings. I decided to challenge every single one of them. My first target was my car insurance. I'd been with the same provider for years out of loyalty and laziness. Empower's dashboard showed me how much I was really spending annually. That motivated me to take action. I spent an afternoon shopping quotes from different insurance companies. I had a clean driving record. My car was a few years older. That made me eligible for much lower rates elsewhere. I was also paying for coverage levels I didn't really need. After adjusting coverages and switching providers, I lowered my monthly car insurance premium by $45. It was the easiest $540 annual saving I have ever made. Next up, my cell phone bill. By the final 30 days of the challenge, I had successfully cut hundreds of dollars from my monthly spending. I had plugged the major leaks in my financial boat. But cutting expenses is only half the battle. The other half is making sure the money you save goes toward your goals, not back into mindless spending. This is where automation comes in. I built a system to automatically move my money, making saving and debt repayment the default. That system made my progress stick long after 90 days. The first thing I did was set up automatic transfers. The day after my paycheck, a set amount moved to a high-yield savings account. Pay yourself first. The money was gone before I could spend it. I started small, just the amount saved from canceled subscriptions, then increased it over time. Watching the savings balance grow each month felt more rewarding than impulse buys. It was a financial safety net, brick by brick. Next, I automated debt repayment. I had balances on 2 credit cards. I used a debt payoff calculator to find the extra monthly amount to clear debt in a year. Then I set up automatic payments for that exact amount. Payments happened like clockwork, emotion and forgetfulness removed. I watched balances shrink on my Empower dashboard. The mountain of debt turned into manageable, consistent steps, no longer paralyzing. Finally, I automated investing. I used leftover money after savings and debt to set up a recurring weekly investment into a low-cost index fund. It started at about $25 a week. The point was the habit. Automating investing built long-term wealth slowly but consistently. Saving, debt repayment. The 90-day mark arrived faster than I expected. The day I sat down to do my final review felt completely different. The first day, I remember being surrounded by a pile of bills in dread. I was looking at my Rocket Money dashboard with pride. I was looking at my Empower dashboard with accomplishment. The numbers didn't lie. In just 3 months, without earning $1 more, I had transformed my finances. Small, consistent changes had compounded into something life-changing. It was time to tally the final score. First, let's talk cash flow. I did a subscription purge, I negotiated bills, that cut my fixed monthly expenses by $245. That's $2,940 saved in a year. I tracked variable spending like food. I tracked shopping. That saved an extra $300 to $400 per month. None of this money sat idle. My automated system put it to work. Every dollar had a job. Build my emergency fund, attack my debt, grow for the future. I went from almost nothing left each month to a solid surplus. The debt impact was huge. I funneled cash to my highest interest credit card. I paid one card off completely. My story isn't unique, and it certainly isn't magic. I didn't win the lottery. I didn't get a massive inheritance. I didn't get a huge promotion at work. All I did was stop. I took a hard look at my habits. I used the tools available to make a change. The most important lesson: you have more power over your finances than you think. You don't have to wait for more income to start improving your life. Real progress is possible right now with the money you already have. The journey starts with the decision to take control. The path is small, intentional actions, not giant leaps. Cancel one subscription you don't use. Make one phone call to your insurance provider. Set up one automatic transfer to savings, even $20. Small wins build momentum and change your trajectory. Don't get overwhelmed. Focus on the next step today. Progress, not perfection. Every dollar you save helps build your future. The tools were critical to my success. Rocket Money. Rocket Money helped find and cut wasteful spending and manage my monthly budget. Empower. Empower was my command center for tracking net worth, tracking debt payoff progress, tracking long-term investments.